country are being made to be the victim of a situation they are not involved, and then sent to a foster home where they again are reintroduced to trauma of being the odd ball. Our courts are contaminated with young, inexperienced caseworkers and polluted with bribes, high-priced bonuses for speedy adoption of terminated parents, and judges who don't practice law with the Constitution in their sights. This is a problem. George Washington never thought of children as pawn in the game of freedom and American values, and never had he wanted to sell them. They were from his maker's creator. Our children are being run down for no other reason than the profits being made in some way. Somehow these government agencies make money hand over fist day in and day out. They have you go to classes that they are billing for, and there is no viable reason for you to attend. Yet when you hear an update, CPS tells you that you're further away from when you started. Reunification is your goal, not theirs. And after you go through 12+ months of grueling, painstaking classes and meetings, all while getting the slimmest amount of time to visit your child, and even worst, you are always supervised, never alone again with your child. It's awful. How do they feel, do you think?
Where's the outrage? Why is nobody standing up for these families being torn apart by CPS?
Please don't tell me you're going to put all your bets on this superhero. You grown-ups are supposed to be coming to his rescue. Stop ignoring this problem. There is nothing more I can say to any of you. Please fight CPS and help those who have lost so much they can help themselves.
In the United States, CPS makes upwards of $3 billion per day on trafficking and selling our children. The corruption may start with the caseworker, but goes through the judicial system, passing the governor through the Senate and into the White House. The entire system has a hand in the business known as CPS.
Our children are stolen every minute of a 24-hour day. They are being robbed of their innocence, their trust, their happiness. As parents, we are isolated and betrayed by a government we trust. States are balancing budgets on kids' lives. Only 12% of the kids taken will be reunified. Title IV funding is being riveted with fraud.
We need to stop CPS and abolish CPS.com is leading the way. Join us.
Thank you, dear Phyllis, and thank you to all of you. I have served in the Georgia State Senate for 4 years. One of my greatest pleasures, other than my sonogram bill, was getting the resolution passed to stop the North American Union. However, for 4 years, I have been confronted with families struggling to remove their children from the clutches of Child Protective Services. I wrote a scathing report last year on the corruption in Child Protective Services, and an update and copies are out on the table. During the last session of the Georgia General Assembly, I introduced Senate Bill 415 relating to juvenile proceedings, and copies of that bill are attached to the report on the tables. The Bill 415 called for the time allotted for the Department of Human Resources to provide emergency care to a child without a court order to be reduced from 7 days to 72 hours. It required a court order to enter the residence of a parent or guardian to seize a child. It called for family court to be open to the public. Confidentiality and secrecy in family court protects the wrong people. It provided that immunity in the system shall not extend to the seizures of children that are found to be in violation, nor to the administration of medication to a child over the objection of the parent or custodian, and it provided the state from applying for obtaining, receiving, or accepting adoption incentive payments under the Federal Adoption and Safe Families Act of 1997. The Department of Child Protective Services has become a protected empire built on taking children and separating families. This is not to say that there are not those children who do need to be removed from wretched situations and need protection. However, my report is concerned with the children and parents caught up in legal kidnapping. Having worked with probably 300 cases statewide and hundreds across the country, and in nearly every state, I am convinced there is no accountability in child protective services. I have come to several conclusions. 2 or 3 are: 1, that poor parents, not always, but oftentimes, are targeted to lose their children because they do not have the wherewithal to hire an attorney and fight the system. That caseworkers and social workers are very often guilty of fraud. They withhold and destroy evidence. They fabricate evidence, and they seek to terminate parental rights unnecessarily. That the separation of families and the snatching of children is growing as the business grows because state and local governments have grown accustomed to having these taxpayer dollars to balance their ever-growing budgets. That the bureaucracy is huge. Look at who is getting paid. State employees, attorneys, court investigators, guardian ad litems, court personnel and judges. There are psychologists, therapists, psychiatrists, counselors, foster parents, adoptive parents, and on and on. All are looking to the children in state custody to provide job security. That the Adoption and the Safe Families Act, set in motion first in 1974 by Walter Mondale and later in 1997 by President Bill Clinton, offered cash bonuses to the states for every child they adopted out of foster care. In order to receive the adoption incentive bonuses, local child protective services would need more children. They must have merchandise that sells, and they must have plenty so the buyer can choose. Some counties often offer $4,000 to $6,000 bonus for each child adopted out to strangers, and an additional $2,000 for a special needs child. Employees work to keep the federal dollars flowing. But that is only the beginning figure in the formula in which each bonus is multiplied by the percentage that the state has managed to exceed its baseline adoption number. Therefore, states and local communities work hard to reach their goals for increased numbers of adoptions for children in foster care. As you can see, this program is offered from the very top and is run by Health and Human Resources. This is why victims in Child Protective Services get no help from their legislators. It explains why my bill, Senate 415, suffered such defeat in the Judicial Committee, and why I was cut off at every juncture, and why I was defeated myself last month for my re-election by another Republican. That tax dollars are being used to keep this gigantic system afloat. Many grandparents have called me to get custody of their grandparents before being lost in the system. Grandparents who lose their grandchildren to strangers have lost their own flesh and blood. The children lose their family heritage, and grandparents, and parents too, lose the connection of their heirs. And that the National Center on Child Abuse and Neglect in 1998 reported that 6 times more children died in foster care than in the general public, and that once removed to official safety, These children are far more likely to suffer abuse, including sexual molestation, than in the general population. Think what that number is today, 10 years later. Here are a couple of the recommendations on my list. Call for an independent audit of all state child protective services and for a federal congressional hearing on child protective services. Abolish the federal and state financial incentives that have turned child protective services into a business that separates families for money. I have witnessed such injustice and harm brought to so many families that I am not sure if reform of the system is even possible. The system cannot be trusted. It does not serve the people. It obliterates families and children simply because it has the power to do so. What I have said to you in these few minutes is that we must confront the fraud in child protective services. Child Protective Services seizes children using the very system that is paid for by the taxpayer, who actually believes it is used to protect abused and neglected children. The bureaucracy of workers benefit financially by a system that converts children into cash while destroying their families and their lives. No child who emerges from the system can ever be sound or whole. Many disappear and never are ever heard from again. God will not stand for what is happening to our children and our families. His heart beats for these children. He will lift up the downtrodden. What is happening in America regarding child protective services is a criminal political phenomenon, and it must be brought to an end. Please join me in working to help set our children and our families free. To whom much is given, much is required. As you pray for this nation, pray for the upcoming election, and for our national financial crisis, please pray for our children and for our families. We all must press on and win this race for America. Thank you very much.
Now, where the hell is that? Where is that? Where is that in this election? Where is that in this whole campaign? What is going on? Why do we not have another Nancy Schaefer out there running this election? I know that we have Donald Trump out there. I know that he's out there and he's doing his best that he can do. And I know that there's other little politicians out there maybe spewing a little bit of CPS rhetoric, but there's nobody out there hitting the nail on the head about them talking about they're actually stealing our kids from our houses, from our homes. There's nobody out there saying that innocent parents that have done nothing wrong, or at minimum have maybe drank an extra beer, maybe done something completely asinine and made a bad decision one night. But that doesn't mean that they should lose their parenting rights for the rest of their lives. It doesn't mean they should be convicted of murder, because that's really what's being done here, people. They're convicting us of murder when they terminate our parental rights. We are getting the civil death penalty. They take our kids from us. But yet there's nobody out there that's crying out for us. There's nobody out there saying, hey, let's help these people, because they all think that we're guilty. We have a stigma that is attached to us. Now, we didn't do anything wrong. I mean, 20 years ago, this would have been something that if any of us did wrong, it was be kept behind the walls of our own homes, to the confines of the family. But that's not so now. An innocent night of having fun is turned into public knowledge for everybody because you no longer have your child. They say that you are in imminent danger to your child. And they're liars. And we know this. Us that are involved in this fight, we know that they are liars. But there are too many of them out there that don't believe that. And they think that we are all terrible parents. They think that we don't deserve the chance to parent. They don't think that we're capable of being parents. And they think that our kids are going to be much better off being taken away from us than they're left alone with us and to grow with us. We don't have any support from any of these politicians. None. Nancy Schaefer was the end of the line. Nancy Schaefer was 14, 15 years ago. We're still dealing with the same things that Nancy Schaefer dealt with 15 years ago. This movement hasn't gone any further than 15 years ago when Nancy Schaefer was there. We still have no politicians standing up for us. They stand up for the 85,000 immigrant kids that have been lost at the border. They stand up for them. Make all kinds of congressional hearings, all kinds of investigations, and all kinds of everything. But what about so-and-so's son down in Florida and Alabama, Nebraska, Michigan? A child a minute, people, is being taken from our families, never to be returned home. Now, we don't know if they're missing. We don't know what happens to them after that. But what I do know is when every child has been taken away from their family, they leave behind such broken people that get zero respect, that get zero help, that get zero anything from any political group, from any public group, from any group at all. It's only us. It's only us that stand by one another, and even that is flawed sometimes. It's flawed because, you know what? Your case is more important than mine, and rightfully so. This is a very, very hard situation to be in and to overcome. Clearly, your situation is more important than mine. Your child is more important than mine. However, we need to get out of that mindset. We need to revamp ourselves because no one is coming for us. We're behind enemy lines. We've got no weapons. We've got nothing. We're starting from ground zero, people. And the only thing that we have is each of us, one another. That's the realization. For 20 years, the only thing that politicians do is put more money down on taking our kids. They are not coming to help us. We need to help ourselves. That begins here. That begins now. How do we do it? What do we do? What things can we do together to bring this movement to where it needs to be so that all of us are fighting together in unity and getting results? Because right now, people, the way things are going, the only thing that's happening is people's pockets are getting bigger. No kids are coming home. These are harsh truths, but they're facts. I don't want to sit here and lie to anyone. So we start today, people. This is our election too. It's our election to determine that we've had enough. People that have been affected by Child Protective Services have had enough. And we're not going to wait for anybody any longer. We need to do this ourselves. What's up, everybody? I think it's Tuesday night, election eve, election night. Got Herbert here. Herbert, how we doing, my man?
Pretty good. Your dialogue that you said before was very good. It's very true. I see nothing either party is talking about in regards to parents and dealing with child protective services. Not a word.
Right. Nothing.
Just nothing as if they were talking about, for example, so nothing. It's almost as if we're not talking nothing about the prisons we have around the United States. They don't talk about the prisons, so they don't talk about child protective services.
Yeah. Might as well talk about Santa Claus.
Yeah.
You know, it's just this is the realization that this movement needs to have, is that is no longer can we look to external sources to help us. We have to come within, and we have to stop the bickering and all of this stupidness that's going around this cause, and we need to all come together as 100%, not just a little bit, not a little bit of this, not a little bit of that. We need to all put our situations aside, and we need to pick up the weapons, and we need to have this fight because no one's coming for us, Herbert. No one is coming for us. If they didn't figure it out on this round of elections, that all they had to do, all any person that was running for any branch of office had to do was say that they were about getting rid of child protective services or helping the families that have been wrongfully terminated, and they would have easily won their whatever position that they were running for.
Well, I'll say it this way: if any one of them, either side, would have picked up the torch, what's her name, Schaefer, Nancy Schaefer. If they would have picked up her torch and kept rolling with it, then I agree with you.
Yep.
But nobody's picked up a torch. Nobody's touched the torch as if it doesn't exist.
No, she died in vain almost, because she died and everybody just let her go. And that's it. I mean, yeah, we all still, talk about her and everything, but we're talking 15 years ago. We're talking 20 years ago. Nothing has happened. Nothing has changed. Listen to her speech. That speech was 8, 10, 12 years ago. I don't even remember when she died or when she was murdered. She didn't die. She was murdered. But, nothing has changed.
No, if anything, it's gotten worse.
Right. People have just gotten richer from this stuff. More kids have gotten taken. Communities have gotten more money from their, and their budgets. We're balancing budgets with the children that the states are taking. Look at, there's a 4% increase in adoption and children taken into custody all across the United States. Isn't that interesting? 4%. Strange that everyone has that comment. The state of Maine is leading the nation in abuse and neglect. How the hell is that so? We barely have a city here, but yet we lead the nation in corruption too, Darren. It's terrible. But but then you have all of this stuff that's going on. No politician is coming to help. They don't care. They don't care. They do their laws.
And Maine, they don't care to help. Our politicians would rather stand up for their pocket than to stand up for us and get rid of CPS. And that is true facts in here in Maine. They are so corrupt beyond belief here. It is unreal.
Nowhere in any place during this election has anybody said a damn thing about helping out people with child protective services that have been involved in illegally or had their kids wrongfully taken or any of that shit. Nobody. The closest you have was Josh Hawley, back when he was going on his rant, and that was about the kids with the immigration. That's what it was. It had nothing to do with any of us as parents, that people like you that are wrongfully accused of crimes you didn't commit, but they took your fucking kid. People like me that I was wrongfully committed of crimes I didn't commit, but they still took my kid. I was dismissed of all charges from the state. They still took my kid. My case had nothing to do with my kid. They still took my kid. Same with you. Same thing. Parents over and over and over. I don't even like to talk about my story because you're going to tell me the same one. We're all going to talk about the same thing. So stop talking about all the same things and start talking about the ways that we need to come back and beat these people.
We need to get all these
political group. What do we do? Start our own political group?
We need to get all these corrupt politicians out of office, starting with our governor right here in Maine. Miss Mills needs to go because she's the biggest corruption in Maine.
Of course she is, but who's going to do it, Vinny?
No one. Even if you get rid of your person, who's going to take her place?
We have to find that one that is willing to stand up and take these people down one by one.
They're just going to be, like Robert saying, they're just going to be filled back up with more of it. We don't have a support system for a cause here. We are all individual parents trying to fight for the rights of our children, and we're all doing it individually. We try to say we're going to do it as a group. We try to say we're going to do this. I really think it's time that we need to form our own political group.
I agree.
Because we've got to compete with these people somehow. We can't seem to get our asses out of our way to come together single-handedly and do these things together just under the cause. You know, no one seems to be able to just put their things aside for a minute. You know, everybody's looking out there and they're trying to tout for who's first. And here, let's copy this person so that I can be better than this, or I can sell a book, or I can do this bullshit. Screw you. Bye bye.
I ain't better than no one.
You're a
You
fame
know,
fucking
I,
chaser.
I,
You know,
I
you
just
don't need that.
I just want my kids home where they belong, safe,
Exactly.
and away from these people that are abusing them and putting shit in their heads that don't even exist.
That's it, Vinny. But no one's coming to help you, so now it's time that you need to help you.
Right.
So we
And,
need to
and
create.
I'm not even putting my faith in my criminal attorney right now, because you know he's on the side of he just wants this. It's
Of
all
course.
about this.
It is. Yes. It's all about that. All about the money. Do you know what will
I think
happen?
I did a damn
if we
good
really-
job. I did a damn good job with my dismissal. I put my case law, I put everything that I was supposed to put in there, my violations, and he will not put it through to the court.
No, because the court won't make any money, Vinny. They're not gonna
But
do
you know
anything
what?
for
I'm
this
overriding
dismissal.
his ass, and I don't care anymore.
You are an innocent person. You shouldn't even be. Why should you have to wait to have the court tell you that you're dismissed? Why should you have to wait? Why should the judge not hear the facts in the case sooner than later? And this
Because
is going on everywhere.
They want to
And you
push
know
it
what?
out because they're making that money. They're making that money.
They're making the money, and they're also going to make sure that they hold that over your head when it comes up to terminate your parental rights, because your criminal case will just be lollygagging behind, and they're going to say, Your Honor, this guy, is still have, because the facts aren't in yet. There's only accusations in your case, and all they've got
And
is
that's all it
hearsay
is.
down here.
It's accusations and hearsay. That's all it is.
But that stands up in this cheap ass kangaroo family court. That's what they find for them. Preponderant amount of evidence.
Their preponderance of evidence doesn't amount to much of jack shit, because even these state police, and I don't care anymore. They can come after me again, and I really don't care anymore, because it's gotten to the point where these cops are getting away with hurting people, with making threats at people, and there's nothing done.
No, get back in your hole. Be scared.
No, I will not get back in my hole,
Right.
and I
But
will
that's
not
what they
bow
want you to
down
do.
to these little bastards,
Yep.
because that's all they are to me. I'm sorry, Herbert, but I have a big
Well, let's
thing
make it
against
clear.
cops right
Let's
now,
make it
because
clear.
cops are
Herbert's-
pieces of shit.
The days of Herbert being a police officer and what police officer was meant to be is a completely different thing than what police officers are now. Yeah, he wore a badge just like everybody else, but Herbert truly cared about the people he was protecting. He cared about the job, he cared about the image, and he cared about protecting people. That's the difference between him and the way that they did the job when he was in and the way that they're doing the job now. Now they're a Gestapo military, paramilitary group. I mean, why do they have to ride around with, think about it. If every other cop force in the world barely carries guns, why are we running around like paramilitary people? If they didn't run around armed this way, guess what? The criminals wouldn't either. We've created these criminals that we have in this country by
Yep.
who they have to face. I'm not
And
saying, and I'm not saying that criminals are, they shouldn't be around or whatever, but they really have to know what they have to go up against when they go and do their thing. Crime has gone on through the ages of time. You will always have crime.
It's gone up in
Someone-
Maine. You know why? You know why it's gone up in Maine? Because a lot of these people are sick and tired of living the way we're living, while these immigrants are getting firsthand everything given to them.
I can understand that. I can understand your feelings about that. And it's not right. It's really not right. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know why companies take business offshore. When I call into certain companies and I'm, for customer service, I'm talking to somebody in a whole different country for customer service for something for United States.
Well, we should be talking right here in this country, Herbert. And that's
We
the
should
problem.
be. So why do the companies? I think that because they feel they're saving money than paying the wages that we should be getting for being on the phones and for customer service and answering. So customer service now for a lot of large companies are in other countries.
Yeah. Well, you look at the fairs nowadays. It's all ran by Mexicans now. There's no Americans running any of these fairs because they're paying these Mexicans little to no money to do the work of us.
What you said a fair? What do you mean by fair?
Fair,
The
like
carnivals.
all of our
Carnivals.
fairs that we have, counties, everything, carnivals.
You mean carnivals? No, see, actually didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's all ran by the Mexicans now.
Well, because they have the money. They have. We can't knock the Mexicans because the Mexican people, they work hard and they accumulate the funds and they bought the Ferris wheel and they bought the merry-go-round and they're running affairs. So you can't really blame them because they work hard to do that. I mean, think about it, Vinny. You can't blame them because they open up the business and they do that. Look at the Mexicans. You see them riding around doing landscape. I'm sure they do that up there, right? Landscape work and all that. So they're doing the grunt work. They go doing the grunt work. And it could be 2 to 3 of them living in a house. 2 or 3 families living in a house, accumulating monies together until they can spend off.
Americans have gotten lazy.
They pay them to be here.
Have gotten lazy.
So
They become justified. They justify that they don't need to do this type of work. No one wants to go be a carny. Well, you know what? The carnival still has to go on. Someone has to do it.
Somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to do it. Exactly. I mean, think about all immigrants that have come over here. We have the Italians. We have the Irish. You have all the Albanians, the Ukrainians. I mean, they're all the Mexicans. If you want to look at it that way, the Ukrainians, the Albanians, the Italians, they're all the Mexicans. It's the same thing. And they came over, and the Chinese, they came over, and they have what? I mean, every neighborhood, I don't care how upscale or how downscale, doesn't every neighborhood have a Chinese restaurant? Seriously. Okay? So how many Americans have Chinese restaurants? And do we not go to their Chinese restaurants? Do they not make money? And as they're making money off of them, Vinny, they're going to open up bigger businesses. They're going to get away from Chinese restaurants and open up big businesses. So why aren't we as Americans not doing that ourselves?
Because we can't afford it.
Right. Are they really taking jobs away? Do you really feel like picking things in the field, picking cabbage, picking corn, and stuff like that? Do you really feel like doing that? The Mexicans will do it with a smile on their face.
Well, it's not only that. The minimum wage in some places is higher than most. Like for Maine, minimum wage is $17 or $16 an hour. But you go to other states and it's $20 to $25 an hour.
And a Mexican working in your state may be making $10 an hour.
Right. So
okay. And he's not even doing what you were doing when you were working. He's not even doing that. But he's making money. His wife is making money. They're working shifts. They live in a house with 2 or 3 other Mexican families, and they're sharing the rent until they can break away. And once they can break away, now they go make big money. Now their children, on the other hand, they will send the children to the best of schools, so that those children are not coming out picking anything. The only thing they're picking is the career they want to work, as a doctor, as a dentist, as an attorney. That's what their children are doing. So the Mexicans that we see, they may be working low-level jobs, making $10, $15 an hour, that they're doing that for their children, so that their children can get better jobs.
Yep.
'Cause
Yep,
Hey,
but
Carrie,
to
the
do
answer
the
to your question is just the preponderance amount of evidence. It means that that's the standard that they go by, like the 72-hour hearing and everything. And that means that it's not even hearsay. It's it might possibly have even kind of been said, maybe. It's very, very, very low amount of evidence against you. And that's the standard that they use in the 72-hour hearing. But
Yep,
you're right.
like for a DHS case in Maine, the preponderance of evidence is less than 42%, Carrie, in Maine.
Mm-hmm. So it's
And that's a
like
low
nothing at
standard.
all.
Now, in a
Herbert.
criminal side, it's a lot higher. But in a CPS case, it's very low.
Yes.
Debbie wants to know if there's anything that they can do to have police stop listening to their cell phones in their house.
Yeah, it's called a cell phone blocker. It stops them from transmitting in your house.
Where can you buy a cell phone blocker?
Oh, you can get them online anywhere.
So if I go to Amazon.com, I can find cell phone blocker. And the purpose of that, Debbie wants, Darren, why does Debbie want a cell phone blocker?
I guess because I don't know the answer to that, but I'd assume because she's afraid that someone's recording inside of her home.
Debbie, you can get a thing that checks your home for bugs.
Yeah, I have one of those.
They actually make an app for it too in the App Store that you can turn it on and scan every part of your house, and it will tell you if there's something that's not supposed to be there.
Well, it's not good over here to eat anything.
Cell phone.
Okay, she said she'd like to get one when there is a worker downstairs and my daughter's basement so that they can't get on their cell phone.
Oh, so she wants to just be able to stop people from using their phone inside their home?
Yep.
Cell phones.
Hello, but no.
Can she come on and talk to us?
Hold on a minute. There's EMP proof for tablets. Cell phone boosters. They have booster kits. Cell signal blocker.
Advanced full band mobile blocker.
All blocker for landline phones.
Oh, right here. It's called. They sell it on Walmart.
Of course, Walmart.
It's called M Signal Bar Cell Phone Signal Blocker.
So that means you won't be able to receive a call or make a call. Is that correct, Vinny?
Yeah, it blocks the signal.
Okay, so that means you can't make a call, and you can't receive a call.
Right, it's a signal blocker.
Okay, so why would she want that?
She wants to block the caseworker from being on his phone.
So when a
if
case,
if it's her house, she has a right to do stuff.
so if the caseworker is in her house, she could block the caseworker from making a phone call.
Yep.
So then the caseworker can just go out to his car and make a phone call.
He'd have to do it outside the house, which means he would leave the house.
Yes, that's correct.
And that's when you open the door and say, "Sorry, I refuse you entry."
Well, how did the caseworker get in the house in the first place? Why did she let the caseworker in?
Oh man, they had all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, they got tons of shit out there for stuff like this.
I don't understand why the caseworker came into the house unless the caseworker has a warrant.
She's just saying she doesn't want them using their phones.
Carrie, Darren, Carrie said that we're only live on Fighting CPS.
Really?
Yeah, it's only showing that we're live only on Fighting CPS.
Well, let's take a look at that. Let's see. We're in here.
She said because they bring the kids for visit. So
We should be in. It says streaming on Fight CPS.
Okay, I get it. So they bring the kids for visit. So by having a blocker, they can't sit in the house and make phone calls.
Right.
Okay, so tell her to get a blocker.
That's what she asked about.
No, I wanted to know why. And Vinny just explained why. Because the CPS personnel bring the kids to the house for a visit. So while in the house, they probably want to make phone calls. So if she has a blocker, they can't make a phone call.
Yeah.
Huh. So I actually reached out to the Trump administration today. And wrote them a nice little thing about how I want to expose the corruption going on here in Maine. So hopefully I'll hear something back before long.
Gotcha.
Carrie, what are you saying? That there's, you know what? We have the call-in line now. Forgot about this, guys. We got a call-in line now. You can call in. That's all. We're good.
So what's the phone number for the call-in line?
Well, hold on, one thing at a time here. We're on here, Carrie. I guess it's just way far behind us. But we're here. So we got that one handled. Okay. And whoa. What was that, Herbert? Easy. So the number is 571-494-8133. What's funny is I can't see any of the things in the chat either, though. So I get something.
Can you post it so people can see it?
Yep, I sure will, Herbert. Let me give a second here. A couple of things happening here. Where is it? I put it on here earlier. It's lower third. Some weird stuff going on here because I don't have those up there either, and I just put it on here.
Darren, I don't know if
you're
you
welcome,
saw this, but
you're welcome,
I did
Kelly.
share it out to my wall.
Do what?
It's a news break from the Maine Wire. Corruption acquitted panel chief Dodges questioned over 12K grants to Maine House Speaker's sister. Maine DEA commissioned is struggling to adopt an anti-corruption policy in part because the goal of commission is to transfer taxpayers' money to their friends and allies.
Right.
So
they're blatantly just saying that they're doing it.
Yeah.
Can you post the number, Carrie?
Right on the screen, Herbert.
It said after Maine's House Speaker gave sisters nonprofit $12,000 of taxpayers' money, DEA panel will consider anti-corruption policy, which is called PCRITP.
Yeah, I can't. I'm having problems with the chat too, Gary. I can't post anything in here.
So I see the number posted
can't-
in green. Is that the number I see posted in green on the line?
Yep. Yep.
That's-
That's it.
Okay.
Yep, that's-
So that number, so your viewers can call that number and be on the air talking by calling that number. Am I correct?
Yep.
Yes,
Okay.
But make
sir.
sure you guys
Make sure
are.
that you wear. You need to make sure that you wear earbuds or something along the lines. Mute your stuff. If you put mute, but if you to activate chat, please enable channels here. What the hell is going on here?
Actually, I was the first one to use your chat line.
You sure were, buddy. Check it out at YouTube. YouTube enables live streaming on your channel. What the hell is going on?
Hey, Debbie, why don't you try calling that number you see there so you could be the second person to use the chat line? Debbie, you see the number? The 571 number.
Oh,
It's in green.
we got to. I've got to. Your content was removed due to a violation of our community guidelines. Your channel now has one strike. This means you won't be able to do things like upload, post, or live stream for 1 week.
What? What you do wrong?
I don't know.
Maybe the number. Maybe it was the posted of the number.
No.
No.
It's probably something we
It's gotta
said that
be-
they didn't like.
There's nothing I could think of that we were talking about that would be in violation.
Let's see. Let's review the content. We found something that you may violate to help keep the community safe. The next 2 steps will ask you to take a look at your content and policy. If you'd like to appeal, we'll be happy. They added a strike.
Of course they did, because it's a way for the government to keep us from speaking out.
Let's see what.
Did we speak about anything that had to do political?
Do we talk about medical information? Because it says that content that poses a serious risk of egregious harm by spreading medical misinformation about currently administered vaccines that are approved or confirmed to be safe or effective by local health authorities.
We weren't talking about anything that had to do with health.
Nope.
They're going to show me right
We
here.
weren't talking about anything that had to do political.
Let's see.
So according to this, I just want everyone to be aware how far Maine is corrupt. Last year, the executive director of the commissions, Ariel Reese, attempted to ban white people from speaking at a public event. This is in our government. There's executive director.
That don't even make sense what you just said. That doesn't even make sense.
They're trying to take away our freedom of speech in Maine, is what they're trying to do.
They're trying to take the freedom of speech of white people from speaking?
Yep.
So therefore, a black person or a Hispanic person can speak?
Yep.
That doesn't make sense. I don't get that.
It states it right here. It was a clear violation of Maine's Freedom of Access Act, which governors open participating in public meetings. And this is their director, RICCI, Riki, or whatever her name is. She's the executive director of commissions.
From the other night when we were all on, and then I took off, and it was Tiffany and Gunner and you. I don't know what was said yet. I gotta find.
Oh, I don't know.
Find it. See, I don't know either. Anyway,
I was on the phone for a good 20 minutes, so I didn't even hear half of what they were saying.
Yeah, I don't know either. But that's why, Carrie, that's why we're not up on CPS breaking news. Because we were shut down for a week. We are in jail. So, but good thing we have multiple other channels to watch, and we'll start a new one. That's how we go around this. So anyway, back at the ranch. Yeah.
You should never
they just-
project your punches, Darren.
Yeah, I know. But I was just letting everybody else know here that we have a plan.
I know, but still, that's projecting your punches.
Oh, yes, Mary, I'm an idiot. All right, so watch us on Twitch. There's my projecting my punches. Go to Twitch, everybody, and watch us there. So there's how much of an idiot I am, Mary. That'll do for this week. We'll make sure that we air just to Twitch. So if you guys can't see us here, catch us on Twitch, and then that'll be that. So anyway, so let's go back to the call-in number, 571-494-8133. If you want to try to give us a ring and talk with us, let's try to hear someone call in.
I do know. I heard that Gunner told me today when I was talking to him this morning that they screwed Cricket and her husband over hardcore.
Okay. Yeah, they tried to get a hold of me.
Yeah, they canceled the hearing. CPS canceled the hearing, and because they were at that stage where they could cancel it so they could adopt their kids out, and that's what they did.
What?
Yeah.
They adopted their kids.
Yep. So I'm pretty sure that's why I don't see them in the show tonight. That they're probably got a lot of emotion going on with that, which you can't blame them, because to pull that kind of bullshit last minute. I'm waiting for something to happen to my daughter, because I tell you what, when it does, I'm gonna come down hard on these states. I have so much that I can push out to the public, and I plan to go public with it.
But this is what I'm talking about, guys. No one is coming to help us but us. So it's time that we need to come together and form some sort of whether it's like I said, whether it's a political party, whether it's something that can compete with these people, because we can't.
Yeah, no TPR hearing whatsoever, Carrie. They just adopted out their kids outright.
Pretty sure that's quite illegal.
That is highly illegal and unconstitutional.
Yeah, man, that one sucks. That sucks. That's hard. Well, our thoughts are with them tonight, I guess. For sure. That's terrible. Wow. See, guys, this is it.
Yeah, I think Gunner's helping with working with them on that, Carrie. They sent him a bunch of information this morning, and he's working with them.
You know, I wanted to do like a pay attention to the election, yada, yada, yada thing tonight, but I don't really even give a shit about it because they don't care about us. I'm good with this show for the rest of the night after that.
You know, I don't know how many times I've reached out to our Republican senators and tried to reach out to Governor Mills' office. And every time that I did, we can't talk about CPS. We have nothing to do with them. You need to contact the Budmans. They don't do nothing either because they're a piece of shit company.
Yeah. Vinny, let's do last words.
Yeah, man. Herbert, start you off.
let's see here. I'll start off with saying, since, as you said before, Vinny and Darren, that nobody seems to care about what goes on with the taking of children and the parents, that parents have to look out for themselves and look out for their own children, and to avoid being a target of CPS by all means. Don't cop the attitude of, this is my business and I can do whatever the hell I want with my kids and I don't care what anybody says. No, don't go there. Don't go there. Because once you go there, you just invited CPS into your life. So don't go there. Play their game, beat them at it, keep your kids. I say it again. Play their game, play the CPS game, beat them at their game so you can keep your kids.
My last words for tonight is for all of you. Hope that we win the election with Trump. If we don't, we need to keep fighting. And it is time for us to make a stand as parents all together. And it is time that we bring these CPS agents, these courts, DAs, ADAs, all down for their corruption.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay. I'm going to say this. I am the CPS Punisher. Fuck the CPS.
I had a date with the devil, then I changed the schedule. Earned several medals by slinging that heavy metal. Turquoise and a feather, speaking to the spirits. Baby, tell me you can hear it. I die for what I hold dearest. Hope it never has to come to that. Promise I'm never gonna run from that. Step my ground like a man, draw the line in the sand. Yeah, family over everything, regardless how it land. I'd be damned if my soul damned. And me and karma gotta hold hands. I'll go to war any minute. I'll be fighting for my children, so the enemy got no chance. I'm a warrior for what's right, even though I did some wrong things. I wanted to get on for my offspring, try to do it big so my kids could enjoy all of the small things. They say the good die young, I'm still breathing. I'm the son of the righteous, but my father was a heathen. When I go with him, I'm leaving a story worth reading, or a bunch of tales that probably drive my children off the deep end. Said it could die young, I'm still breathing. I may have ran with some demons, but I've never been a heathen. I believed all along, writing my wrongs in my songs. I put family over everything till everything was gone. Yeah, I know I've been a bad guy, but I always had a good heart. Played the part of a villain, been a hero for my children. When I'm no longer living, just remember all the good parts. I know I've been a bad guy, but I always had a good heart. Played the part of a villain, been a hero for my children. I'm no longer good part. I talk with the angels, told me I'm in danger. Look at my reflection, see the image of a stranger. Been a long ride, what will I do with the remainder? Good die young, so my species are endangered. In the jungle with my guns out. Been through the storm, but the sun's out. I see the clouds coming, I'm not running from the flood, cause it's time the enemy is gonna get flushed out. I'm on the pirate ship without my gold. It can sink, stories still be told. This is the tale of the hopeless, I'm the poet of the broken, never truer words spoken from the soul.
You good, bro? Yeah. You look like you just buried a body. Say that.
They said it young, I'm still breathing. I'm the son of the righteous, but my father was a heathen. When I go, with him I'm leaving. A story worth reading, or a bunch of tales that probably drive my children off the deep end. Said it could die young, I'm still breathing. I may have ran with some demons, but I never been a heathen. I believed all along, writing my wrongs in my songs. I put family over everything till everything was gone. Yeah, I know I've been a bad guy, but I always had a good heart. Played the part of a villain, been a hero for my children. When I'm no longer living, just remember all the good parts. I know I've been a bad guy, but I always had a good heart. Played the part of a villain, been a hero for my children. When I'm no longer living, just remember all the good parts.
Young, inexperienced caseworkers and polluted with bribes, high-priced bonuses for speedy adoption of terminated parents, and judges who don't practice law with the Constitution in their sights. This is a problem.
They take away the fathers, leaving just a mom and cubs. They know that with that out the way, the better things will go. Breaking apart the family, destroying the American way. Our legacy is built upon our families of yesterday. Fuck CPS, fuck CPS, fuck what they doing. Fuck CPS, they need to be ruined. It's all about the division of family services. You hear that the division is what they about. They prey upon the family, the ones that the dad's been kicked out. We can't stand for this abomination. This is the song that needs to play across our once great nation, making us aware of the problem. Stealing our kids, it's not mama drama. Stand up for those who are lost to them. We need to fight for the family, making America great again. CPS comes along with the mission to protect. The only thing they are doing is cashing in those checks, paid for by the souls of the children, diagnosed by a caseworker who is still a baby herself. They take away the fathers, leaving just a mom and cubs. They know that with that out the way, the better things will go. Breaking apart the family, destroying the American way. Our legacy is built upon our families of yesterday. Fuck CPS, fuck what they doing. Fuck CPS, they need to be ruined. It's all about the division of family services. You hear that the division, that's what they about. They prey upon the family, the ones that the dad's been kicked out. We can't stand for this abomination. This is the song that needs to play across our once great nation, making us aware of the problem. Stealing our kids, it's not mama drama. Stand up for those who are lost to them. We need to fight for the family, making America great again.